Hi, how you guys doing out there? James Humphrey with Socius Productions Movie Reviews. I got Jimmy, I got the new guy Will, and today we are talking about the Fast Saga. Fast and the Furious. All 15 of them.
It probably will be in the end. It'll be Fast and Furious and Walkers by the time it's all done.
Yeah, we'll talk about all 9 of them, which all have various different titles, right?
Yeah.
You got Fast and the Furious, The Fast and the Furious, Fast 5, Fast 8.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Fast and the
Furious.
Yeah, they went to Tokyo for a little bit.
Drift,
Yeah.
And then... You know,
Fast 9,
Fast 7,
yeah. Furious 7.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's start with the first one. What's the first one's even titled?
Just Fast and Furious.
Okay.
Yeah, or The Fast and
Came
Furious.
out in,
Yeah.
what, 2001?
2001.
We were babies.
Did it come out then, or was it 90? Or
I think it was 2001.
2001. Yeah, that's right. Because it became that's kind of what got me into cars for the most part. Like I thought they were cool then because got me into imports at least.
Yeah,
I grew up like around like the muscle cars and stuff. Like obviously you guys and stuff, and then cousin Scott, he had a truck that had a 350 built motor that ran like 12 seconds. So she was a fun little ride, but that got me into like the Eclipses and RX-7s.
Yeah, because the first episode definitely had a lot of imports in it. You know, Hondas and Eclipses and Skyline and stuff like that.
It didn't. Well, actually, it had some R33s sitting off on the sidelines,
but they weren't racing.
Yeah. But and then I think they had a Dodge Stealth sitting off in the sideline too in that first one.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I think it was yellow. It was just sitting there creeping.
There it is.
Creeping. So.
Talking
Japanese classics. Even though the Stealth is Dodge, but if you pop that hood, it's a Mitsubishi motor.
Yes. Vin Diesel, Paul Walker I wouldn't call them the height of their careers, but most definitely in the beginning. Although Paul Walker had a few movies under his belt.
I think Vin
when Fast
had
and
a
Furious
little
came
bit
out.
when that came out.
He had Varsity Blues. He had like
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, stuff in his early career. And then Vin Diesel was actually in Saving Private Ryan. And he had a few movies. I think I can't remember if this was before or after Triple X. I want to say he did Triple X before this movie came out.
Truthfully, I can't remember.
And that's when he
2001 or 2002.
That's when he decided to commit to those movies compared to doing a sequel and all the other stuff until he did that last one like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
What was that movie that he played in when he played with Taye Diggs? You remember that movie? He was like a cop. Him and Taye Diggs were cops.
Oh, Man Apart.
Talk about a Man Apart. And that was Lawrence Tate, not Taye Diggs.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Lawrence
Same
Tate.
guy.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
Anyway, so when the first Fast and Furious came out, was good.
Yeah.
It
involved around street racing.
Street racing.
Plot,
when they're actually,
cool plot.
Actually racing.
Yeah.
Him is who are they? What the hell were they stealing?
Stereo, like VCR, stereo,
Panasonic,
system.
like TVs and stuff like
I
that.
thought they were stealing car parts.
No, they were just hijacking electronic trucks.
Yeah, it was like electronic.
Okay.
But they had the 3 Honda Civics, and then that was like their go-to cars with the green underglow and stuff, and somehow fitting under semis that hasn't happened since the 70s.
Yeah. Not a lot of special effects. Not a lot of action, but they had the racing.
Yeah.
Which was the purpose of the whole movie
where it was supposed to start and remain.
They had the minor story with Brian being the undercover cop and doing all that stuff and all that jazz.
kind of being
tuna no crust.
Placed into the scene.
But other than that, I mean, it was a decent movie for a decent time when it first came out. Whatever. Too Fast, Too Furious.
It
had Luda.
Taye Diggs, or not Taye Diggs. See what you did?
See what you started, cuz.
Vin Diesel.
He didn't do that one.
He's on the run for whatever reason.
Exactly.
And then,
he was already in Mexico.
So he basically had that was one with Tyrese, wasn't it?
It first introduced Tyrese.
Exactly.
Which his character wasn't a bad character until it got later.
Around in
kind of, he was kind of the comic relief, but he still kind of had that hard ass to him in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Exactly, because he basically.
And then he just became a clown.
He did because they got him. He was like in jail or something, locked up.
House arrest. He was doing the derby, and then but that one was good because I liked the Skyline in it. In the start, it's a shame they didn't keep that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my Mitsubishis. The Evo was sexy. Third gen Eclipse needs to go. That ain't even a real car at that point. Like once they hit the third generation,
it was a Roman Pierce. You know, hey, you can't be mad at something that Roman would drive.
Flashy and girly.
Flashy, exactly.
And girly. Don't forget girly.
The color, yeah.
Still had racing.
Yeah, we did because we had some old schools in there too.
Yeah, that's true. They had the
Challenger,
Cuda and
or was it the Camaro in there? So yeah, we had.
Was it Cuda or was it a Challenger? I think it was a Challenger.
Challenger. Yeah, you're right, Challenger.
So, yep. That was pretty good. Pretty decent story.
What's the Asian chick name?
Huh? Oh, Suki?
Yeah.
Suki,
had a little Asian girl in there, and then they introduced Ludacris.
Yeah,
Tez.
Yep,
Tez.
And then they did a complete flip with the script on Tokyo Drift.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say he became the outlaw on that one, or the Too
Yeah.
Fast, Too Furious.
Brian did.
Yeah.
Which we'll come back to here in a second, because that kind of makes sense and it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? But we'll come back to it.
I mean, once he gave the mark away,
right? Tokyo Drift.
Just a whole different. I mean, you know, it's in a ball game of its own. You know what I'm saying?
Now, okay, so I understand when they do with movies where they don't necessarily put it in chronological order.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they play this movie first, play this movie later, whatever. But at that point in time,
Star Wars.
At that point in time, we had no real connection to Tokyo Drift to the other series compared to only by Hans, whatever.
Yeah,
he's the only real link.
And then at the very end, Vin Diesel comes in.
Shows up out of nowhere, and then
the other one comes back too in a later episode. What was the white boy name that drove the car? Because it was kind of based around him too. It was
the country kid. I can't think of his name to save my life right now.
Yeah, he kind of came back into play on Fast 9, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, granted, around Tokyo Drift time, that was around drifting. Like when drifting was just kind of getting big, like finally starting out and getting cool. So like it was only natural to try to save, in a sense, a dead like what seemed like it might have been a dead franchise at that time. Because I mean, you already had Fast and Furious, and you had Too Fast, Too Furious, and by the time that one came out, it just kind of felt like it was on that idle.
Didn't they have some movies that was competing with those racing movies? I could have sworn they had like a few racing movies that. When did Need for Speed come out?
That didn't come out till I would think 2015, 14, something like that.
Somewhere in there, 14, 15.
Yeah,
okay, we were a little bit.
I could have sworn they had like some more racing movies or car movies like that.
They had
were
like
trying to
Death
compete
Race
with
and
Death Races.
Transporter was technically kind of a car-ish movie.
Yeah.
And Transformers kind of came out around.
That's
they kind
true.
of had cars in it with the new Camaro and stuff like that.
Yeah, it really wasn't too much racing. But what was the other one? It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh hell. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of it. Yeah, we'll come back to that.
So they took a break for like 10 years, right?
Yeah.
5 years, 7 years, something like that.
I think the other one didn't come out till like 2008, 2009.
And they titled this one The Fast and the Furious, right?
Yeah, or it might have just been Fast and Furious. I think the first one was The Fast and Furious.
And this was just Fast and Furious. Okay, so they brought all the characters back.
Yeah.
You got Vin Diesel,
kind of
Paul Walker back.
Told the story of kind of how Han was in the group. And then
and what happened to him.
And then theoretically Letty died.
Yeah.
It was supposed to, right?
So Brian gets recruited by the FBI, right? After he's supposedly on the run after the end of the second one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
which technically his record was cleared at the end of the second one because he did their little task
or whatever that was.
Yeah, but what did he do wrong? That's the thing.
Well, when he
other than let Vin Diesel go at the end of the movie.
Yeah, since I mean, he broke quite a few laws in the process.
With the mouth per hour, for one thing.
But he's chasing the suspect. He's not.
That's true. Like realistically, like street racing is. Oh hell, what is it in Kansas? At least it's like 6 months probation and a hefty fine.
You know what I mean?
But you get spectator fines too now.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, so he joins the FBI.
Yeah.
And then you got Toretto, Dom, whatever, is looking for Letty's killer.
Yeah, Braga.
Michelle Rodriguez was only like in the movie for five minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Before she got killed off.
Yeah.
Or supposedly killed off.
Right.
And goes undercover. Both of them go undercover to. Well, I would say both of them. One of them go undercover to expose what's the villain?
Like
Braga.
Braga and his cartel, basically.
Yeah,
what they were doing.
Stop the trafficking and all that.
They still had racing.
Yeah.
By this time of the movie,
it had
A few
It had more racing than by the time you got to like the fifth one. But like by that time, the racing was pretty much gone. Like
So they caught the guy, but by the time of the end of the movie, Vin Diesel gets locked up or gets sent to jail, whatever.
was supposed to. Well, yeah, he
Gets
did.
sent to long
and then
haul. And then they bust him out.
Busted him out.
Yeah.
And now we have Fast 5.
Yeah, and the endless amount of fucking chargers that they seem to get their hands on.
Right, a lot of chargers.
I'm like, I wish I could get my hands on that many chargers every time one gets wrecked.
Especially the old schools. I mean, he ran through so many of those in the movies. I mean, think about it. Hobbs, Hobbs hit one.
Yeah,
he done wrecked. I don't know.
That was in the fifth one.
Yeah.
Like that's grounds
Like
for
an
an ass
endless
kicking.
supply.
Like,
Exactly.
So it's the whole him ramping the car up, the car going up. Is that really a thing?
Oh no, not the way they do it.
Not even a little bit.
No.
You know, cars can hook like that, but that's not a.
It's not.
That's not
I'm
what
not
you're
going
gonna
to
see out here.
Yeah,
Every day.
I'm not.
I feel
just
like
gonna
all
drop
the
gear and
engine
it's
is
gonna
like
go.
on the top of the or the front of the car. How's he gonna lift it up in
traction tires.
If you look like,
okay.
I look like some of the behind the scenes. They actually take a lot of weight and they put it in the trunk.
so you
with
got,
the
like,
car,
bricks
with
and cements and stuff in the trunk.
cement bricks. So with
That
the
makes
car
sense.
with a bunch of horsepower, if you making 500 or 600 horsepower and you got it stripped down, when you smack it, with the suspension right, everything's gonna transfer with the weight. You know what I'm saying? So
gonna
that's
shift
how they
and
did
grab.
it. Because I was
Okay.
looking, I'm one of them type of dudes. I like to go look at some of the scenes and bloopers and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because everything came rare. Even that long Daytona even popped a wheelie, didn't it?
Right?
Come
Yeah.
on now, that
I'm like,
thing ain't supposed to pop a wheelie.
She too big. She
Right.
she big girl.
Now
She
the
deserves the
Charger-
love, but
the Charger
she
and the Chevelle, I get that. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But the when he popped the wheelie on basically the Daytona, the Sunbird or whatever you call the
Yeah.
thing with the long beak, I was like, nah, man, that ain't supposed to pop a wheelie.
front end's way too heavy.
Yeah, too long.
Yep. And that ass is like this.
Little booty.
They introduced The Rock,
Yeah.
Sir.
who.
I'm dead.
Okay, I'll give him this. Listen to me, because I know I said some stuff about The Rock in previous episodes with his action comedies that just suck. At least with this one particular role in this particular movie, the other ones. But Fast 5 was the one I could say that he actually act like a badass, like hard, whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
Compared to
Put
all
your
the other.
funderwear on, boys
Yeah,
and girls.
because then they had a pretty decent fight scene in the movie with him and Vin Diesel, even though their egos were like really fighting, not them fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you heard those behind the scenes things
Oh,
that,
yeah,
that
yeah.
happened in the movie.
Especially after Paul passed away.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
So,
Let's give a moment of silence for that. Just,
Yeah.
reason most of us are in the cars.
well, not in the cars, but I was a big Paul Walker fan. So there's
Yeah, Paul, definitely. He was definitely who he was on and off the screen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He slept, ate, and drank cars. Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what he really loved it. And honestly, I hate to say, how sometimes they say what you really love can kill you.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those
He wasn't
things.
even driving the car though.
Exactly.
I know.
He was on the passenger side.
Yeah. It's like, do you know how to do this, man?
yeah, like I got this, bro.
And he was supposed to be a
Done.
professional driver, too.
Hey, that made me think about the time when you got that big old ticket coming down parallel. You was like, don't do it, cuz, don't do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
So they made Fast and the Furious meet Ocean's 11 with this old bank heist.
Yeah.
But then tying the cars to the bank vault with the little cables and then driving it through the city.
Yeah.
Realistically, I'd call horseshit on that.
Yeah.
Even with two Chargers.
Yeah. Because, like, if the safe was as heavy as they portrayed it to be,
It's not gonna slide around.
No.
You'll need like a
Like-
couple TRXs.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then to get
you're
that,
going to need some with grip. Them Chargers are way too small.
Yeah, they
to
were
get
skinny.
that vault to fit perfectly in the back of a garbage can or garbage truck.
Yeah, no, that...
How they slid it up on there on the wires and it popped
Yeah.
loose. Yeah.
And then they switched it off.
Yeah, there was some things to be questioned.
That's when they started pushing things a little bit.
And started getting unrealistic, and it's like, there's precision driving, and then there's no way in
There's
hell this
magic.
guy's going to be able to, like, figure out the perfect timing for every last one of these moves with this thing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
So basically, they need a few more mistakes.
yeah.
They
Back to the first one when the floor pan falls out, and then
Yeah,
he
almost-
picks up Vin
yeah.
Diesel, and all of a sudden it's back. And
Right.
danger to manifold, dude. A computer ain't gonna do that. Like Nas, no. We're gonna get into tuning here, and then we're gonna truly lose the viewers. They're gonna be like, what the hell are they talking about?
So now they're all on the run. They're all rich, but they're all on the run. Every single one of them.
And everybody just kind of spread out doing their own thing.
In I guess areas around the world that with no extradition where they can't get arrested and nothing like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and Vin Diesel has a new bitch, right?
The cop. Yeah, the cop ends up getting with it. Yeah. So tell me how The Rock didn't know exactly where the hell she went, like, because he's like, I'll be seeing you soon. No, you won't. Dude, she must have been with him the next fucking morning, like.
Exactly.
So he's just not gonna follow her, like.
Tracker on
did she just quit and
or did he just shoot her a text and be like, "Here's my new address, you know, come see me."
Yeah, you bring up a good point there.
Yeah.
So like shit. So here comes.
And he's supposed
Fast 6, right? Was it Fast and Furious 6?
Yeah, because he's supposed to, because Paul Walker had the kid first, right?
Yeah.
And what was that? Was it Fast 5?
Technically Fast 5. She was pregnant, and then in 6 she had the kid. And then, that takes me to the opening scene of that, though, when they're racing on the mountain with the Challenger and the GTR.
Yeah, I was watching that in my truck coming today.
It was so unrealistic in that sense. Anybody that's ever driven a Challenger knows those things handle like ass.
You gotta think about it, though. You see how wide the tires is? He had obviously tweaked the suspension a little bit. There's some guys that roll course.
That is a bulky car. It's not going to corner as good as the GTR. I don't care how good you do the suspension. That motherfucker's going to end up off the damn cliff.
Me having a Charger, you right. The suspension is a little shaky.
It ain't. Yeah, it just that GTR hugs them corners, man.
They're racing to the hospital for the birth of the baby. So I thought that was kind of. Yeah,
it's like I'm about to be
all
dead.
Our lives to race to the.
I'm about to be a dad. Let's go ahead and just be dead.
Yeah, let's do that. And so The Rock again comes out of nowhere and finds them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and says, "Hey, I'm gonna let you all go home if you what's the
come work for him."
Yeah, it was the part of the fucking movie again?
So Letty apparently is still alive.
Right. Yeah. So
but she's working with
the Shaw brothers brings those in. Okay.
Yep.
And she's got amnesia from the explosion,
and she never remembers who the fuck she is
until like the end of the 7th one.
No, I don't even think at the end of the movie she still doesn't remember who the fuck she is.
In the 7th one, she does at the very, very end.
Oh, okay.
All
her memories just come back, right?
Yeah, like a flood.
During the movie, she starts seeing memories and like wasn't it like scenes of her? Because when her and Vin Diesel, remember they had that race. And he was kind of saying things like ride or die, certain things that was kind of.
And then they were making the necklace appear specific, like in the movie. Whatever. Because that's how they got married or whatever. But then the necklace has some sort of relevance.
Yeah. To the then somehow, movies. Old girl that didn't he have a baby by her?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes.
Well, that's not.
We're getting ahead. We're
2 movies ahead of that. We're 2 movies ahead of that.
We'll slow it down.
So we're 10-second movie reviewers.
So Letty's not dead. She's working with this other dude.
Working with Shaw.
Mm-hmm. The Shaw brother, not Jason Statham. And he's rolling around in this little race car, fucking. Oh yeah, that's right.
This little flip car.
This is the first movie where they get in serious car accidents with no scratches or cuts, right?
Yeah. Apparently can wreck a BMW into a pole and not scratch.
And I really don't care how good of a racer you are. They were sticking these little small electric things on the cars,
and then he was
drifting and hitting it off,
knocking them off the poles.
No.
Unless you got a front camera on your bumper to know exactly
where it's at.
Yeah, no.
Right. Yeah, that was a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, maybe on your rear bumper because and how far your ass is going to kick out, but you're.
Right, but he hit one up there by the fender, like, didn't take the whole door off. I mean,
This is the one where Ochik dies, right? Or is that 7? No, that is 7.
That's 8.
No. I'm talking about Han's girl.
Oh yeah. Yep. Because they're. This one. Then speaking of that part, when they decide to pull a fucking plane down with cars.
Yeah.
Not just any plane, a military transport plane that can haul tanks. There's no way your little friggin' Charger or whatever you guys are driving is gonna pull down that plane. Not to the extent of what they did.
That is
not
true.
even.
That plane's gonna go up and it's gonna be gone.
And then.
Some hero tactics.
The one brother gets into a serious accident, gets fucked up, whatever.
Yeah, which realistically he should have been dead.
Yeah,
because if Giselle would fall off where she did, And then he falls out of the same spot. Right. Like, it's same height, same speed. Yeah. But he's okay. He's just laid up like a friggin' mummy by the time you get to 7. But Giselle's dead. Yeah. So, I just tongue-tied on that one. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. It is Fast and Furious at this point. They brought back Han. They brought back Letty.
Right.
She's probably chilling with Bora somewhere. Like, we don't even know.
We're doing a lot of resurrecting around here.
And so, they get back home. The Rock, lets them all slide on that bullshit that happened in the previous 8 movies.
Yeah, name your price and they get their house back.
Oh, okay. And then they bring in the other brother.
Deckard.
Yeah.
Deckard.
Jason Statham.
Yep.
And he's like this British badass.
This is Fast 7, right?
Yeah.
We're up to Fast. Goddamn.
Yeah, I know, right?
And so, with Fast 7, they're all working their old regular lives where he comes in and starts fucking with shit. And this is about when they stop racing the cars, right?
Yeah, realistically. I can't even think. Really, was there even a race scene in 7? Oh, just the beginning.
There was a chase scene, wasn't it?
Just
when
the beginning.
At the cemetery with Vin Diesel and
yeah, there was plenty of chase scenes, but
no racing.
In the very beginning, race wars. Because she decks
because she still can't remember who the fuck she is.
Yeah, she decks that one dude. I can't think of his name. Hector.
Yeah, with long hair.
Yeah.
No, the bald guy. Remember?
Same guy that's in every single movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mexican dude. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Lowrider Hector. Yeah, got
Yep.
So they're all fighting Jason Statham. And, what the fuck is the plot of the goddamn 7 movie? Like, basically, where's the plot of it? Like,
just revenge. Like, that's
because basically, what he thinks that his brother is dead, or what?
Well, his brother was laid up. He was getting revenge for his brother.
So that's the thing. Yeah. So basically, you know how it goes.
Yeah, now, he was going after the
big
team.
Brother? Was Deckard supposed to be the oldest?
Yeah,
so basically, yeah.
So he's just settling the score for him, and he goes after the Rock, and then the team that took his brother down.
Ain't that when we get into Mr. Nobody though?
No. Wait. This is the one where the Rock and the girl fell out of a 3-story building on top of the car with no scratches.
Yeah.
No, he was laid up, but she was perfectly
so much because he was talking. And Daddy loves you this because he's talking to the daughter, and then he rips the shit off and takes off. Right?
Yeah.
And here's
he's like, Daddy got to go to work.
Yeah.
Here's the questionable moment at that too. Okay, so was she pregnant when she fell out of that 3-story building, or did she already have the kid?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Because
because the baby definitely.
Well, he couldn't have been tagging her because Letty was back, so he couldn't have been tagging her by then.
Yeah.
So she must have already had the baby. Yeah.
So it makes you really wonder in that sense, and it's like, okay, if that'd be the case, why didn't she just fucking tell him at the hospital with the Rock, like at that time, or like pulled him off like at the end of 7 because at the end of 7,
I'm having a baby. Do them like the women do us in real life. Hey, you know I'm having a kid. Man.
It's like a blood test.
But you know the movie, right? So and then in 7, is that when we introduce Mr. Nobody as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's Kurt Russell. Yeah.
Mr. Nobody.
Because they were going after God's Eye, and that was how they were going to hunt.
And then hold on, because this Mr. Nobody guy is supposed to be in like here throughout all of the movie because he was the one that let Han die and all that bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
And we didn't see him till episode 7.
It literally turns into fucking James Bond with street racing cars.
Yeah. That is a good point because these are like some regular motherfuckers that are like just street racing and they become like secret agents.
Pretty much.
With no training.
Yeah.
No training whatsoever.
Because you got
it's literally Triple X with the race cars.
7 was the one where they were jumping out of the fucking helicopters with the parachutes and shit, right?
Yeah, they jumped out of the plane with the cars and parachuted in.
And then landed perfectly.
And then
with no training.
Charger that goes off the fucking cliff. And with the roll cage, I don't care how good a roll cage it is.
It's literally tearing the car apart. It's tearing the car apart.
Or you're going to die from a concussion. Like, you're not going to flip that many times.
What is it? Yeah, bodily injuries. Like, there's no way to live through that.
Yeah.
I mean, you see them getting banged around in there, you know.
So. Roll cage is only going to maybe stop you from getting, like, smushed like a piece of toast. But that's about
it. No fucking helmet.
Yeah, no shit.
No helmet.
No seatbelt. Seatbelt on.
They had the racing harnesses.
Oh, okay.
But even then, Ramsey had a helmet on because he was like, put this on right before he jumped off the cliff.
He didn't.
But Vin Diesel's too much of a badass.
He don't need to wear a helmet.
Yeah. That bald head, that's his helmet.
Still plated, baby.
Okay, let's move on.
Tin Diesel, that's his new name, Tin Diesel.
Move on to the 8th one. where some more shit happens.
Yeah, that's when Cypher comes in.
Right.
Yeah, they've been fucking up her place since theoretically 7.
Yeah,
or theoretically, I think.
And this is the one
6.
where they're like,
They've been fucking up since 6 because Shaw's younger brother was working for her,
right?
And then they screwed her out of that deal. Back to 6 for a second though. The scene where he jumps across to save Letty on the bridge. There's no way in hell they'd both be dead.
It's not even that. How many times he's going to catch this bitch on the hood of his car?
Right, yeah.
Like, this bitch should be bouncing off that car and rolling all over the ground and shit. Like, he's swerved that Charger and caught her mid-air as she's flying. Like,
then he caught her in the Grand
How did they learn these stunts in the streets of racing, like downtown New York or LA, wherever the fuck they're from?
I mean, we all grew up watching Jackass, but there's a fine line.
Yeah, it's like, but okay.
So, yeah. She's on the hood of that car more than Chick and Whitesnake video.
There you go. Or a lowrider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 8 is when they take the submarine down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's got the ice charger.
Like the ice,
And then Roman has the damn Lamborghini on ice.
On ice, yeah.
And
but you know Luda with the big toys.
They're blocking traffic with the little harnesses trying to catch Dom,
like the little string.
Notice how I said blocking traffic, like they're just in the middle of London, like, and their cars are like, "Hey, bro, can you move so I can go to work?" Or
they were.
Was that? No, that was. They were in New York. That was. Then they activate all the computer driving systems in those vehicles and start making them
jump off the coming out the building.
There's not that at that time. There wasn't that many cars with that feature to start with, anyways. But
you know they had a lot of Prius and Chryslers though.
That's
like,
true. That's true.
Because a lot of those did have that technology.
And then he's on his 15th Charger.
Well, right there,
I've lost count.
What year?
That was actually a Plymouth GTX.
Okay,
well, I'm saying like his 15th that he crashed. He's fucked up.
He's definitely had some lawsuits racking up there. Because man, everything should be broken in him by now.
I think he has like a Charger guy. You know, like, hey, I need a new car.
Right.
One, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, that GTX was pretty badass too.
Oh yeah, I like that one. That was a good one.
Let's waste 5 more minutes on 9. Okay, so hold on. Before I start bashing, I think 9 had the best story overall because it brought all the movies together, somewhat, kind of.
You kind of seen bits and pieces. You learned about the father, and stuff like that.
You learned the past,
but it was a contradicting story because in the first one, the way they described it, like it was a drag racing accident, not a track racing accident.
But yeah, it was actually like a circle track.
Yeah. So,
and then this whole conspiracy controversy with his brother,
thinking that he killed.
That came out of nowhere. Like they didn't talk about this motherfucker for the first 8 movies, and then all of a sudden he got
a brother.
Yeah, like out of nowhere.
Because Vin Diesel always family.
So you were so family oriented.
Where is your family?
We don't talk about Jacob though.
Yeah. It's like he's no longer family. Fuck that guy.
But I guess in Fast 9 that basically sums it up. He tells him get out. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out of here. So basically he races him for
basically housing.
Yeah, exactly. So, like race, because he told him if you lose, if you win, you stay. If you lose, you gotta go.
Yeah.
And he kind of drove away in his Fox body, which I love Fox bodies. And he was kind of teared up a little bit.
Again with the fucking circles though, because then he leaves.
Right.
And becomes a secret agent.
Which ironically, like and
this whole time he's been like undercover doing shit for Mr. Nobody and all this other stuff who's revolving around this overall circle of
and he comes with a vengeance too. Like I'm coming to take my house back.
Like, it's like you're 20 years too late. So, and then to start with when they're where they're going to retrieve that drive from that plane that went down with Mr. Nobody.
Yep.
Roman has like a bunch of bullet holes in his stuff.
Bro, this motherfucker
completely unscratched
is literally making fun of himself. Like, oh, I'm doing all this stuff and I haven't been scratched. Like, you're making fun of the fucking movie, dude.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're immortal. It's like, and then scene alone with the Charger when he like locks the brake up on the thing on that cable and then flies across the cliff.
Roll it 8 times without a scratch.
Exactly. And that one didn't even have a roll cage.
Did he get out and catch a ride, or what did he do?
Well, he got the girl on the hood of the car again.
Yeah.
You got to do that.
And then his brother jumped that Mustang off the cliff and the plane caught him.
Which, if he's a secret agent, he can do that shit. I get that. If he's a secret agent, he can do that shit.
But you just talking about regular cats like us.
You talking about regular dudes off the street that's doing all of this shit. Like when he was driving, was it 8 or 7? When he was driving the car as the parking lot was falling apart.
Oh, that was the end of 7.
Oh yeah,
because that's when he technically dies and Letty's holding him in his arms, and then she's like, "I got my memory back." So yeah. And it's like, really? It takes that long?
For the sake of the ropes, we're just gonna leave the car and space shit alone.
Dude, Fast and Furious in space, like, I heard rumors and I was like, dude, at that point, I was literally ready to leave the drive-in. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. I can't remember who did they send to space?
Tez and Roman.
Exactly. Dude, you know, they always couple
Tez is at least the smart one. And Roman's the friggin' clown, and he's going to space, like...
Right,
and then they look like friggin' minions, like when they got rescued. Right. You've been living on gummy worms this whole time. Oh man, and then just
making Fieros fly.
They
brought back the dude from Tokyo Drift for that one too. Because I was wondering, like, when was we ever gonna run back into him? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There he is making cars fly. So definitely he took his auto mechanics courses seriously.
And Twinkie became a hustler to a tech wizard like that. And it's like, well, no. Yeah. And then the way it ended, like, it literally ended the same way the first one technically ended. He literally just hands his keys to Jacob and was like, "Go ahead, drive off." Like, I feel like that's how
all of them ended. Like the guy just lets him go. Like whoever it is just lets him go and do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
it's called beef squashing, I guess. You know, squash the beef. Everybody lives.
Yeah, just go. Hey man, you killed my dad, but I'm gonna just let it go, dog. We good.
Like realistically, they should have ended it with 7 after Paul passed away. And then the way they split, that should have been the end of it. Fate of the Furious, I could see just for the fact of, let's write out the rest of the characters. And in this, like, yeah. And now, 10's supposed to be coming out, and it's going to be a 2-parter from what I've heard. So realistically, we've got 11. So, we'll probably get to Fast 20. Like I said, they'll be in wheelchairs with nitrous on it,
Well, I mean, if they got vehicles that people in wheelchairs can drive, then...
Well, that's all good. Come, hey,
I'm freaking little hover around, just...
Come, I'll be like, what nursing home are they in? I'll go work there.
Right?
Yeah. Like, so tell me how you jumped out that plane again.
Right.
All right, I'll go ahead and cut it there. James Humphrey, Jimmy, Willie, Socius Productions movie reviews. I don't know what we're doing next week, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, we'll cross that bridge here soon.
We'll see you then. Later.